Brennan.
Tony, if you can walk us through in the third quarter, it was their touchdown to tie it. So I think you guys had set the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Was the correct, I guess, personnel grouping on the defensive line in there? And so it's like, what's the expectation for Deontay to make that play?
Yeah, that was totally on me. You know, with the amount of guys we rotate in there, you know, I called out a position group late because I was trying to see what they were going to do. You know, if I felt like they're already down there, is it going to be two? Is it going to be two possessions where they're going to run the ball and see and then kick it? You know, get it down the short, fourth and short, and try to go for it or whatever. I called out a position group late, and between who was already on the field and who wasn't off the field, who just came off and all that kind of stuff, we didn't have the exact correct group out there. But you know, if you're on the grass, you got to perform. You know what I mean? If you're on the grass, you're expected to execute. And you know, again, credit to the young quarterback. He made 4 or 5 guys. We had five or six guys running scot-free at him, and he made a miss. And he ends up going and throwing a touchdown. You know, we make a guy miss, and he runs for 30 yards. You know what I mean? So I didn't do a good enough job putting those guys in that kind of position, and we paid for it. So got to be better.
Liam?
When it comes to stuff, particularly in the middle of the field, is that something that maybe the linebackers, the secondary, aren't communicating properly? Is that just good scheming offensively?
No, that's everybody. That's the guys up front. That's the second level, and then that's the third end. You know, that's the back end. That's all 3 levels. You know, and when you're playing that defense, you know, when I get a feel that hey, they're going to take a shot or something like that, you know what I mean? Then I do that, and you know, it's kind of crazy because a couple of our interceptions and us making them hold the ball on those shots were because we were in 3 high safety looks, and then you know we've given up too many big plays where they've come off of that and run combination routes and stuff, and we're just way too deep and all that kind of stuff. So I need to address that and make sure that they understand the difference between playing 30 yards back and playing timid versus, you know, trusting their eyes and seeing the ball and going in breaks. You know, when you play zone coverage, that's why you're playing zone coverage, to get depth, see what the quarterback's looking at, and then get breaks on the ball. That's the thing we're not doing, is we're not breaking up on the ball. You know, we're not seeing it, we're not anticipating, and we're not getting great breaks on the ball. So I need to work that better.
I was actually going to ask about that. It seemed like guys sometimes recognize things late, like even when the quarterback's pass the line of scrimmage, things like that. Mm-hmm. Is that when you install a new defense, this is guys learning a new system, or is it something else that's happening?
I'm gonna put everything on me, guys. You guys, I think you guys know me by now. Like when those guys go out on the field and they play hesitant, or they play not on the same page, or they play confused, that's me. Like trying to do too much, trying to win the game on the chalkboard, whatnot. Like you saw what happens when those guys just turn loose and go play. You know, we've seen what that looks like on the grass. So, you know, you're trying to plug holes and you're trying to do this and you're trying to compensate for this and you're trying to do this. Like at the end of the day, like play physical as all hell, get your ass to the ball, and go tackle people and swarm. You know what I mean? And they'll make you right. And you know, again, you can't win the game on the chalkboard. You gotta give those guys clear set of parameters, let their eyes be there, and then turn them loose. And I haven't turned them loose because they're thinking too damn much. So we gotta fix that.
Chris?
The linebacker group, you guys have to kind of reshuffle the deck and figure things back out there with that group. Is there a crisis of confidence with that group at this point?
No. I mean, just, you know, again, those other guys are on scholarship too. You know, they put he's like a wide receiver back there. You know what I mean? And they got us a couple times on the matchups. You know what I mean? They got us one time on Elijah going over there, and then they got us one time on 41 going over there. But again, that's the chess match, right? Then we started putting the DB on them, and that's when you had guys running scot-free at the quarterback, and we just don't make the play. So, you know, that's part of it is them, you know, using their tools and their skill sets to their advantage. And then, you know, when we adjust and when we put guys in position, you know, we have to make those plays. You know what I mean? I did their drive chart. You know, on the first scoring drive, they go 3rd and 7, convert, 3rd and 13, and 3rd and 6. result 7 points. A 3rd and 7, a 3rd and 13, and they get points. Okay, the second scoring drive, a 3rd and 11 and a 3rd and 2, a 3rd and 11, and that equals 7 points. They had convert on a 3rd and 6 and a 3rd and 14, and they get points. That's 21 points on 3rd down and eat 10 pluses, guys. That's 21 points. You know what I mean? So again, I think if we're better on 3rd down, okay, if I had a better plan for the young men on 3rd down, and we hit some of those plays where we're running at the quarterback scot-free, not a guy trying to get off a block, and I'm talking about scot-free. They can't block the guy because they release the back. If we make 1 or 2 of those plays, we're celebrating a victory. But you go back to planning, you go back to the drawing board, and you say, okay, like giving the guys too much to think about, we're gonna go back and cut down some stuff and make sure they know how to execute, make sure they rep it, make sure they really hone in on the things that are off the chalkboard. Their attitude, their aggression, their physicality, their swarming, their tackling. I mean, and then them getting out of this too scared to go make plays and all this kind of stuff. That's the thing. That's the thing that hurts. Is like you practice all week, and they had a great week of practice. They had a physical week of practice. They were flying around, all this kind of stuff. And then you get in the game, and then they make a play or something, and we're timid or we're thinking too much on checks and all this kind of stuff, so we don't play as fast. And well, that's bullcrap, man. Like then that starts with me. Like gotta cut all the crap down, and just let those boys go out there and fly around and play to the standard that we've shown on the grass. So.
Aslan. I think there was a moment in the second half where I think Mike and Terrence had a bit of a conversation that was a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
Not uncommon on a sideline for that sort of stuff to happen, but do you respond well to that sort of stuff? Is that stuff that you'd rather have happen like in the locker room when it comes to talking about things that need to be tweaked in game?
No, that's coach. I mean, again, we're trying to get the right group out on the field, and I was late in saying, hey, I want this, and we weren't able to get those guys, and guess what? They made a play. And so coach wasn't happy about it. I wouldn't be happy either. Like that's what he's supposed to do. Like we're supposed to say yes, sir, and get it fixed so that way we can play good defense. You score 31 points, you're supposed to play good enough defense to win games like that. We didn't. Okay, so that's my fault. And the young men are thinking too much. The young men are thinking about chalkboard stuff and this versus, I line up here, I have my eyes here. When that ball snaps, I get my ass to the ball. Okay, like I get there and I get there pissed off and I get there playing as physical as I can and I know what the hell I represent. So I got to tone it down. I got to tone it back. The packages, make sure that they know what to do. They know how to do it, and then really concentrate on we lost the game on 3rd downs. You can't have teams in 3rd down and 10 plus 4, 5, 6 times, let their ass get out of there, and then them go and convert and think you're going to play good defense. You can't do that. So we got to be better in the situations. 3rd downs. Red zone, I thought they responded well, right? I mean, they kicked multiple field goals, and then especially the one, I think it was in 2 minutes where the punts blocked. They got the ball on the 20 or something, and they bow up and they intercept the ball. You know what I mean? So there's some really good things, but we just didn't execute very well in the situations, and we got to make plays when it's one-on-one. At least one of those plays, and we're celebrating a victory.
In regards to like some of the timidness that you've seen, and we have seen when they just fly around. That's on tape for multiple games. Do you think when you talk about scaling things back, did you maybe put too much on them too soon with this being a new scheme?
Yeah, you can say that perfectly, B. Like if they're on a play and they're looking and thinking and doing this, I either put too much on their plate or during the week I didn't make it exactly clear what we are doing and how we're doing it. Okay, it shouldn't look like that. It should not look like that. So again, that starts with me. That starts with my communication to the assistant coaches to the way they teach it to the players, and then the players absorbing it. And then in practice, if I see that they can't absorb something, I better take the damn thing out of there and throw it away. But you're trying to give these guys a chance to, with the things that they're going to see. We knew zero was going to be a problem, in terms of being able to cover them. So again, mid game we put AB down there at linebacker to cover them. And then what we did was we put the DB on them and then said, hey, if they're releasing that guy, they're only blocking with 5, so we're going to bring 6. And we got guys running scot-free at the quarterback, so we got to make plays.
Court?
When you talk about how they look in practice and they do look like they're attacking and playing aggressive and then it doesn't translate to the game, has this happened to you before as a
Oh, yeah.
defensive coordinator? How do you fix it when it seems like it's being practiced the right way,
Yeah.
but not being applied in the game? Like what do you do? What experience do you go back on to get this?
Well, I think that goes back to really looking at practice and seeing, like, what are the things that they're doing that we're not showing them, because a lot of that stuff was zero, right? And we hadn't shown them, like, all the stuff out there, picking on the linebackers one-on-one, those little things like that, saying, okay. So then it spooked them, so then they're reacting differently. You know what I mean? Like, whereas you're able to calm guys down. You know, you see it all the time in college football. I mean, you know, you see, some guys got released today, right? I mean, you see it all the time. And I don't think guys go in there saying, yeah, we had crappy weeks of practice and look what happened. I think, you know, that's always the name of the game is when you practice well, which the guys did, like from Friday to Saturday, how does that, if it doesn't translate, why? Like, why is it? Are we putting too much on their plate? Is it something in our process? Is it they're scared? Is it something during the game? Like, you know, do we get spooked that they make a play? Like, I gotta do a better job of speaking confidence into the guys. I mean, they're good. They're good players. You know what I mean? Like, they're good players. They do what you ask. They run through a wall. These guys are blue collar. They work hard. You know what I mean? They practice their butt off. So I'm always going to go back to, like, it starts with me. My coach set the standard, and you know, that was not the standard of which we play. So I gotta figure it out.
On some of those plays you talked about where guys coming scot-free at the quarterback, you saw different things, like a linebacker jumps.
Yeah.
You know, just clearly there are fundamentals being taught. Like, what do you think is getting lost in the translation?
No, I think it's just experience, reps, and, you know, guys in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, you can train for something your whole life, and when you're there and the bullets are flying and you're there, like, sometimes it takes you that one time, and then you realize, like, okay, and then the next time you're there, you do it the right way. You know what I mean? I mean, Juice is the same guy who made the 4th down stop at Bama when they tried to run the guy all the way across, and he ran over the top and he stops him and, you know, get a chance to win the game. He's the same guy. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say he's not a playmaker, any less of a playmaker now than he was back then. He just jumped. You know, he thought the guy was gonna throw the ball. You know, we match the throwing hand. He got excited for a second, leaves his feet, bam, 30-yard gain. You know what I mean? So those are moments that, you know, you hope you teach and you show them and say, this is how, when you make this play, guess what? They're gonna punt the